The story begins with a beautiful girl, Diane, who works as an English professor at Ocean View College. Currently, she's taking a break and relaxing on her yacht named Lillian. After this, she heads back to the college to teach a class about Macbeth. In the class, she keeps looking at one of her students, J. Richard. When the class ends, Jay's ex-girlfriend, Cynthia, tries to talk to him, but he ignores her. Watching this, Diane gives Jay a call and asks if he wants a job. Jay, who already likes Diane, says yes. Diane takes Jay to her yacht, and he starts painting it. Later, during a break, Diane tries to get Jay's attention. She says she wants the inside of the yacht to look nice too. Jay, who's busy with his painting, says no at first. But Diane doesn't give up. She jokingly suggests that maybe Jay doesn't like her. Hearing this, Jay changes his mind and admits that he likes Diane too. Then, they engage in a passionate physical encounter. Following this, Diane drives Jay to a gas station where he's employed. During the ride, Diane asks Jay for a favor, and given his current susceptibility to Diane's influence, he readily agrees. Meanwhile, the scene transitions to Diane's husband, Michael, who also teaches at the college. As they converse, it becomes apparent that a significant plan is in the works. Michael reveals that his mother, Lillian, and grandmother, Letty, own property worth billions of dollars, but they're unwilling to pass it on to him. Both Michael and Diane have been relying on inheriting this property after Lillian and Letty's deaths. However, Diane declares that waiting is no longer an option, and they need to take decisive action. The plot thickens as the couple sets their sights on a grand plan to secure the coveted property. The following day, the couple convenes with Jay in their office to lay out their plan. Diane requests Jay's assistance in scaring away the elderly women, Lillian and Letty, from their home, making it easier for the couple to take possession. Once frightened, the plan is to relocate the ladies to a retirement home. Initially hesitant, Jay eventually acquiesces after Diane assures him that nothing will go awry. Simultaneously, we catch a glimpse of Lillian in the company of her gardener, George. She inquires about George's son, Martin, and whether he plans to visit soon. George, however, hasn't made any plans to visit his son. Following their conversation, Lillian wheels Letty back inside the house. In the midst of these events, Jay, taking on the role of an intruder, infiltrates the property by scaling over the walls. Once inside, he heads to the basement to concoct a plan to frighten the elderly ladies. However, things take an unexpected turn when Lillian's dog senses Jay's presence, prompting furious barking. Lillian, alarmed, grabs her rifle and discovers Jay. In a bid to escape, Jay dashes out of the house, evading Lillian's shots. As Jay makes his getaway, another intruder, shrouded in a mask, enters Lillian's residence armed with a rifle. The masked intruder proceeds to shoot both Lillian and Letty and takes their lives mercilessly. Back at Diane and Michael's, Jay recounts the unfortunate events, laying bare the shocking outcome of the plan gone awry. Michael, anxious, attempts to contact Lillian to confirm their well-being, but the unanswered call triggers skepticism. The trio rushes to Lillian's home, only to discover the lifeless bodies of the elderly women. In the emotional aftermath, Michael, overwhelmed by grief, points the finger at Jay for their demise, while Jay vehemently accuses Michael of setting him up. Threatening to involve the police, Jay is halted by Michael's intervention. The following day, within the familiar confines of the school, Michael delves into a lecture on abnormal psychology. Struggling to contain his emotions, Jay abruptly leaves the class. Seeking solace, he turns to Diane, pouring out his anguish over the tragic turn of events. Diane, attempting to comfort Jay, finds herself crossing boundaries, seducing him in the process. Unbeknownst to them, Michael overhears the intimate exchange and decides to exit the scene. As Michael makes his exit, Jay's ex-girlfriend arrives unexpectedly, inadvertently eavesdropping on the unfolding drama. In the parking lot, Cynthia confronts Jay, brandishing photos capturing Diane and him in intimate moments aboard the boat. However, Jay dismisses the seriousness of the situation, nonchalantly leaving the scene. Undeterred, Cynthia decides to take her concerns to Michael, intending to expose the apparent betrayal. Upon reaching Michael's place, she is unexpectedly met by George. Uncomfortable under his scrutinizing gaze, Cynthia abandons her plan and leaves without revealing the incriminating photos. Subsequently, George inquires about Lillian and Letty's whereabouts. Michael, quick on his feet, fabricates a story, claiming he sent them on a vacation to Hawaii. Meanwhile, Jay arrives at Diane's yacht, driven by a determination to unravel the truth. As Jay explores the yacht, his discoveries raise the stakes of the unfolding mystery. A piece of television screen glass, blood-stained trainers, a firearm, and bills hinting at connections to a children's psychiatric hospital in Switzerland become pivotal pieces of evidence. Armed with these findings, Jay confronts Diane, who, rather than advocating for justice, urges him to avoid involving the police, emphasizing the risk of becoming a suspect himself rather than exposing Michael. As Jay delves deeper into the puzzle, a startling revelation surfaces. The couple stands to inherit a staggering billion-dollar fortune. This revelation casts doubt on the motives behind the calculated murders, prompting Jay to question the true nature of the couple's actions. Despite Diane's persistent attempts to divert his focus, Jay remains resolute in his pursuit of the truth. Diane, aware of the potential consequences, warns Jay about Michael's capacity for violence. Faced with this threat, Jay succumbs to a mixture of fear and desire, engaging in a passionate encounter with Diane. However, the turmoil on Jay's face indicates an inner conflict as he realizes the complexity of his predicament. Despite the compelling evidence, the absence of witnesses during the incident and the looming possibility of false accusations leaves Jay in a state of helplessness. A harsh reality sets in that he is ensnared in a situation where the pursuit of justice could lead him down a perilous path of suspicion and danger. After all the chaos, Jay starts thinking about the fingerprints he might have left when he first went to Lillian and Letty's house. He thinks about going back to clean up any evidence that could point to him, but then he realizes it might not be such a good idea. Later on, Michael, who's had a bit too much to drink, accuses Diane of having an affair with Jay. Diane defends herself, not admitting to any affair, but only revealing that Jay has found something against Michael and is keeping an eye on them. It adds another layer of tension to their already complicated situation. Back at Lillian and Letty's house, Jay tries to remove any fingerprints he left behind, thinking it might protect him. However, he's startled when the real murderer shows up and chases him away. In the middle of all this, Jay comes across a mysterious person, the one responsible for killing Lillian and Letty. This person attacks Jay, but Jay somehow manages to get away, leaving the mystery of who the murderer really is hanging in the air. The following day unfolds with shocking revelations for Diane and Jay as they learn that George is not just a gardener, but Lillian's cousin. The even more surprising discovery is that Diane and George share a common past. They had a child together named Martin. This unexpected revelation reshapes the dynamics of the tangled web they find themselves entwined in. Meanwhile, Cynthia, undeterred by the dangers she faces, once again visits Michael's house to reveal the incriminating photos of Diane's affair. Tragically, she falls victim to the murderer, who, now dressed as Santa Claus, inflicts a fatal blow. The campus is fraught with tension as Michael, facing accusations, turns the blame on Diane. He accuses her of being the killer, alleging a conspiracy to frame him and Jay for the inheritance. To make matters worse, Michael, now aware of Diane's infidelity, decides to end their relationship. In the aftermath of these developments, Diane seeks solace with Jay, sharing the grim news. Their emotional connection deepens, culminating in a passionate and intimate encounter. As the narrative takes a romantic turn, Diane poses a profound question to Jay, whether he can commit to staying with her forever. Overwhelmed by the emotional turbulence, Jay drops to his knees, bearing his vulnerability to Diane. After this, both of them decide to go to the yacht before Michael comes back. After a while, Michael comes back home and tries to find Diane. When he finds her nowhere, he realizes that she has run away with Jay. He decides to go to the yacht to find them. On the other hand, Diane confesses her intention to file for a divorce from Michael, attributing the strained relationship to his actions. Following their escape to the yacht, Jay opens his heart to Diane, expressing his deep and unwavering love. However, their moment of intimacy is abruptly interrupted by Michael, who sees Jay as a threat to his plans. He watches Diane and Jay making love and decides to shoot Jay with his gun. Determined to end their affair, Michael prepares to take drastic action to shoot and kill both Diane and Jay. However, in a surprising turn of events, Michael experiences a sudden change of heart. He stops and grapples with the consequences of his actions, realizing that he has compromised his principles for the allure of money and Diane. Faced with the impending loss of both Diane and his wealth, Michael succumbs to despair. As Michael wrestles with his inner turmoil, an unexpected figure emerges from the shadows. This figure is the same person who had killed Lillian, Letty, and Cynthia. Swiftly advancing, this mysterious character strikes Michael with a knife, leading to a desperate struggle. Despite Michael's attempts to resist, the assailant proves overpowering, and he finds himself at the mercy of the unforeseen adversary. As Diane and Jay listen to the sounds of a struggle, they turn around to see a surprising scene. Both of them are shocked by the intense fight happening before them on the yacht. In an unexpected turn, Martin, who everyone thought was dead, appears. It is revealed that he is the secret child of George and Lillian and can inherit their money. Martin explains that he faked his death and set up the situation to expose what Diane and Michael did. But there's more to the story. Martin is dealing with a serious illness and he cannot be treated. Martin reveals that he doesn't want revenge, but he wants to kill the people who hurt him, especially Diane and Michael. Following the surprising turn of events, Diane and Jay pursue Martin to Lillian's mansion, where he has intentions of harming Diane. As Martin is about to hurt Diane, Jay takes action. Armed with a rifle, Jay takes a decisive step to protect Diane and ends up fatally shooting Martin. However, as the dust settles, a shocking revelation emerges. Martin is actually Bird, Jay's school friend and former roommate. In the aftermath of the intense encounter, Diane visits Jay at his workplace to express her gratitude for securing the inheritance. As a token of appreciation, she presents Jay with her car. Jay is surprised to hear this and accepts the gift. Their connection deepens further when Diane extends an invitation for Jay to accompany her to Hawaii. Jay, appreciative of the gesture, accepts the offer, and together they embark on a new chapter, leaving behind the complexities and uncertainties that once gripped their lives. The story concludes on a note of resolution and newfound companionship as Diane and Jay set sail for a fresh beginning.